Today's Toy Spot, why we're having a look at the Batman Arkham City Play Arts Catwoman. Play Arts have done a couple of the Batman figures from the Arkham City. I believe they've actually done a Harley Quinn as well. But the one I really was looking forward to was getting Catwoman here. Now, the Play Arts are recommended for ages 13 and up. These are a little more of a collectible item versus a straight figure. This is number 2 as well of the Play Arts line from Arkham City. On the back of the package, some artwork from the figure itself. Collect all figures in this series. I believe actually there was a Batman and there was also a Joker too. So there've been a couple of them, but really ultimately for me, the one I really wanted to get was Catwoman here. I also might end up picking up Joker. Joker I've been really impressed with also. This comes to us from the good folks at Square Enix. Master models produced by Dice Project. And actually the beauty of it, aside from the artwork that you see on the back side here, what you can also do is open it up, and inside you'll see the figure with all the accessories that we'll get into in a second. And there's also an actual read-up too. Now the read-up says, Catwoman, fickle, flexible, and ferocious. Just as the name suggests, she is a heroine clad in a cat-like bodysuit who uses her swift movement and sharp claws as her weapons. She's a burglar, however, she is a sort of chivalrous robber. At times she lends to help, at times she lends her help to Batman, with whom she has a complicated relationship that is often flirtatious and occasionally romantic. Her personality is exactly like that of a feline. And there's also some read-ups here on Arkham City as well. A nice picture of Catwoman, by the way, down there. Again, based on the fact I'm seeing joints in the actual limbs, I would assume that to be the picture of the figure and not so much of the character. But yeah, definitely looking forward to getting this opened. What I am going to do is take a break, going to get Catwoman out, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Play Arts Batman Arkham City Catwoman. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. One thing you'll get with the Play Arts Catwoman, you'll get a simple set of instructions indicating that you have a multiple interchangeable hands. She does have an alternate head, and she does also come with a whip, all of which we will go over and discuss through the course of this review. On the back, absolutely nothing. So just moving that out of the side. You don't necessarily need to hold on to this, but if you are somebody that needs to keep everything together, certainly hold on to these instructions. Having a look at the actual Catwoman, she is fantastic. She is a fantastic figure. On a scale level, she is obviously a little taller than most Batman figures, even though I don't really have one. No, I don't have one actually here at the moment. Most Batman figures would probably be on scale to about a 6-inch. This figure, I think, towers at about 7 inches tall. 7.5 inches tall. But she is definitely a gorgeous figure. First of all, we'll grab the figure. The one thing I really wish they could have included with this, though, was a display stand. Sadly, this one does not come with a display stand. Nonetheless, this does not deter at all from how fantastic of a figure this is. For starters, let's actually have a look at her face. Now, this is currently the face that she was packaged with. It's definitely on par with something more of an anime style of Catwoman here. You can see that the hair, the goggles are up at the top of the cowl that she's wearing there. She's more pale in the face. In fact, it's on certain angles that you probably will make out her nose. She's got a little bit of a lighter complexion. She's got more of a kind of a rosy complexion in the cheek area there. I think her eyes are done really well. I'm torn as to which specific figurehead I would actually like to go with for this figure, because she definitely excels in the ungoggled, if you want to look at it that way, the removed goggled mask, the removed goggled face, I should say. She definitely looks really, really neat as is. Now, if you wanted to, she does also come with an alternate head. Let's move the camera back just a slight bit. Just put her there for a second. Again, display base would have been spectacular. She doesn't really stand too well here. Standing her on a regular surface would not be a problem. Don't worry, it would not be a problem at all. But she does come with an alternate face. And essentially, it's just the exact same face, but that with the goggles. Now, as a preference, still, I'm a little uncertain as to which one I would go with. I mean, with the goggles down, she looks nice. With the goggles up, she looks nice. So really, the torn end of the collector is which one would you actually have her displayed with? There's a close-up look. You can see the mouth and everything else has not varied at all. Nose is the same. It's just, again, a matter of preference to you, the collector, as to how you want to display your figure. To remove the head, that's one thing I'm a little iffy with, because the ball joints on the figures here are very, very sensitive. You kind of have to wiggle it. Oh, I'm hoping, I don't even want to say it. Just gonna try to gingerly remove the head without making any sort of a mess. You know what I might just do, hold on one second. You just want to take a break and just remove it without actually, see, here's the problem too, like, it seems like it's a relatively sturdy enough peg point. She has a ball joint in the neck area. She actually will have a ball joint in the upper head where it will sit in the socket there. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a very brittle peg, but you know, you always run the risk. That's the big problem with these figures. Really, any figure where you have a removable head and you have a socket joint, you always run the risk, though, of some damage. And again, damage is never a good thing when it comes to a collector. Again, you know what? Hold on one second. Unfortunately, with the head, they're extremely finicky to get on. The big culprit really is the fact, because you have those two ball joints, they kind of work against each other when you're getting the head on. To put the head on, yeah, you have to kind of force it going there. But needless to say, what you end up having is just a fantastic alternate head. Your preference, of course, but you know what? Even looking at the figure as it is now, I think I almost like it with the goggles. Again, it's really your choice, but definitely like it with the goggles. One thing I find, it might just be the way I'm looking at it, but I find that her neck is extremely long. Her neck probably should have been just a little bit shorter. When you put the head on, in fact, and for a couple of times I've put the head on, it seems like her head isn't sitting on completely, and it's just likely due to the fact that her neck is as long as it is. But either way, though, I mean, I just love the overall effort and design that they put into this figure. Some other details, you can see that she's got her sculpted collar going on there. She's got her necklace. All this detail work that they put in the corset style bodysuit that she wears. Some aspects to it would have easily been lost in even like a DC Direct figure, but definitely excels well in these figures here. Now, aside from the fact that she has the alternate head, which we've already touched base on, the one thing that the Catwoman here also has is alternate hands. Now, currently, she's kind of got a combination of an open fist and a clawed hand. Now, in this case, and there's a little bit of hair there, in this case, you could easily have these claws being kept on the figure permanently, because the one thing that she does also come with is her trusty whip. The trusty whip, I would say likely, is probably something you'd want to change the hand out for, because even though she does hold it in her current hands, as you can see right here, they're not really designed for it. Not really designed for it, I would say, necessarily. So what you can also do is remove the hands, like so. And this is the part that I'm really talking about more so. The head, as much of a frustration it is for me, these little tiny pegs that the hands sit on, I would be extremely cautious with when it comes to removing hands and putting hands on. Some of the hands that you can get, aside from the open hand, you also got yourself a closed hand, and you also have more of a slashing claw hand, like so there. I would personally say get one hand on and decide ahead of time as to which hand you want to keep on there and leave it. I would say totally leave it, because there is always that big chance, don't want to say it, but there's always that big chance that you know what would happen. Oh, you know exactly what would happen. The hand would break off. Now, the hand didn't break off. I just didn't put the hand on enough. There we go. Make sure the peg, you really have to apply pressure. That's the worst part too. You have to apply a lot of pressure to get these pegs, these hands or head on the pegs here. Get the whip in her hand here, like so. She's in this whole horribly awkward position, but don't worry, Spot will fix it after the fact. Now, as for the other hand, I might even be inclined to probably switch the hand out and put like a clawing hand. The choice is really, again, up to you. Just remove the hand here. I really love these figures, but at the price point, you don't want to run the risk of messing around with them and start changing the hands too often. Once again, big problems can come for the fact that this poor little peg, I don't think will stand well to constant removal, and there you go. That is awesome. Love it. Love it. So there you go. I mean, she has 4 hands, 4 interchangeable hands, including the hands that she's carrying. She's also got the alternate head. And of course the whip. That really makes up the only accessories that she does come with. A display stand, once again, would have been ideal. But I mean, just overall, a very, very cool figure. Now in the way of her articulation, this is where they really excel with the Playing Arts figures. Play Arts, I think, does a fantastic job. Once again, I mentioned she has a ball joint in the head socket as well as in the neck socket. So she actually has 2 methods of moving her head. When it comes to her shoulders are actually on a ball and socket, or actually a pin and socket joint. So these shoulders go out, they rotate all the way around. She has the mid-torso, she has the bicep swivel. She has a bend in the elbow, but the elbow also serves to rotate all the way around. She also has the rotation and slight bend in the wrist, but you have to really be cautious when moving those hands that they're not going to break on you. And then when she comes down to her torso, her upper torso is on a ball joint. Her lower torso by the waist is also on a ball joint. And then as for her legs go forward, back, out. Always makes me cringe when I hear like a little bit of a cracking noise. Legs go back, out. She has actually a double bend in the knee. She actually bends in the upper knee and then bends in the lower knee. She rotates and hinges at the boot. And that looks to be it. But even still, I mean, I got nothing necessarily bad to say about the figure. The one thing, if Spot could make one gripe about the figure, and that's just really with the Play Arts figures as a whole, is they're extremely fragile when it comes to changing hands. Let me stress it again. If you get a figure like this, really be specific as to which hands you want to put in and which things you want to change to the figure. Because I wouldn't say necessarily you'd want to change them too often. You could run the risk of breaking that figure's hand off. But as a whole, I am really super impressed with this figure. It has roughly just come out now. It's a relatively new release. I bought this actually on eBay. But I would say if you have the chance, definitely worth picking up. Catwoman here, I think, is a far superior figure to the one we got from DC Direct and the one we actually got from Mattel. And if you want, even though she obviously is completely out of scale with some of the other Batman-inspired figures, whether it be like DC Direct or the DC Universe, as a standalone piece, this definitely is, no pun intended, the cat's meow. The Playing Arts Batman Arkham City Catwoman, I'm going to give her a very high 9.5. The only real gripes I could possibly make is just changing out the heads is a bit of an issue for me. And I think just overall, she's definitely more for a collector's market where, you want to put a little more care into keeping her displayed. I don't think she would necessarily be for about a $50 to $60 price point. She's definitely not a figure you'd want to play around with a lot, unlike some of the other action figures we've gotten in the past. So there you go, guys. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the Play Arts Batman Arkham City Catwoman. Very happy to have picked this up. Highly recommended. Thanks for watching, guys. Certainly stick around. There are more Toy Spots heading your way. I'll see you guys next time. Meow.